Every year, hundreds of tons of Doritos are devoured throughout the world. To supply this massive demand, huge harvesters collect tons of maize. But how are 70,000 bags of Doritos created daily? We dove into the processes at the Frito-Lay's facility to see how one of the world's most popular snacks is created. Starting at the very beginning, the original product was created in the early 1960s at Disneyland's Casa de Fritos, now Rancho del Zocalo, in Anaheim, California. Using leftover tortillas and inspired by the traditional Mexican snack known as totopo, the company-owned restaurant chopped them up, fried them, and added minimal flavor, similar to Mexican chilaquiles but dry. Arch West, the vice president of marketing at Frito-Lay at the time, recognized their appeal. In 1964, he struck an arrangement with Alex Foods, the supplier of many things for Casa de Fritos at Disneyland, and produced the chips locally for a short time until becoming overwhelmed by volume. And Frito-Lay shifted manufacturing in-house to its Tulsa plant. Doritos were the first tortilla chip to be released statewide in the United States in 1966. The term Dorito is derived from the Spanish word dorado, which translates to small pieces of gold. By 1988, Doritos had become the world's best-selling chips, a trend that continues today with a broad selection of 10 distinct flavors. Which one is your favorite? Let's dive into the process of making this snack. Doritos, unlike traditional potato chips, are produced with maize flour as a base component. Corn is carefully removed off the plants so that the grains are not damaged. The harvesting capacity exceeds 140 tons per day, assuring a consistent supply for the operation. Corn is cut slightly above ground and brought to the facility. The provider cleans and dries the grains using vibrating machines that successfully remove dust, stones, sand, and other residues while increasing the moisture content to 14%, an important aspect in the production process. The prepared corn is then transferred to the nacho plant. The facility receives a daily cargo of 45,000 kilogals grain. The dried maize is transferred from large storage bins to vessels where it is cooked in water. This leads in an annual output of almost 6,500,000 kilos of final goods. Frito-Lay's facility is one of the world's largest chip manufacturers, making over 100,000 packets of nachos every day and distributing them to the market. The facility is divided into 4 major divisions, with the corn sector dedicated to the manufacturing of tortilla-type items such as Doritos. Upon arrival, the first noticeable characteristic is the presence of 2 massive silos, each capable of storing 120 tons of maize grain. With the contents of these silos, the facility can manufacture 20,000 kilos of Doritos. This signifies the first step in making a Dorito. The maize must be cooked before entering the soaking tank. Initially, the maize is cooked in kettles around the boiling point. It is then transported to open tanks and let to soak for about half a day. Each cooking pot holds approximately 300 kilograms of maize and 90 liters of water. The maize is roasted at 93 degrees Celsius for 4 minutes before being allowed to soak for 12 hours. Following the first heating, the corn is transferred to enormous tanks for an overnight soak, allowing the grains to soften. The soaking procedure allows the corn to absorb moisture, which aids in the removal of the corn husk. The outer husk of the grain is filtered away, leaving just soft and hydrated corn. When the moisture content hits 45%, the husks soften and are readily removed. Following the soaking process, a pumping system takes the corn to the washer, where the husks are removed. The maize is subsequently transported by a conveyor belt from the drum to the mill. Following the washing process, the corn is sent to a grinding machine fitted with spinning millstones that ground it into a dough. This procedure entails crushing the corn grains between 2 stones, culminating in the creation of a soft corn dough. As the grinding process proceeds, water is added to the flour to create the required consistency for the corn dough. The produced dough is inspected for 3 critical factors: moisture content, temperature, and grind texture. The dough exits the mill through a tiny nozzle which forms it into a thin sheet. The sheet is then run between 2 metal rollers, which form it into a ribbon. The third roller is outfitted with triangular dies that produce individual, triangular nachos. The dough passes between these rollers and through the cutter, resulting in the unique Doritos shape, which is similar to a cookie cutter. The sharp edges of the roller penetrate the dough, resulting in flawless triangular pieces. This machine can cut 6,000 individual chips each minute, for a total of more than 8 million chips in 24 hours. The value of quality control in the masa manufacturing process cannot be emphasized. Inconsistencies or defects in the masa might cause chips to be unevenly cooked or have a poor texture, affecting the product's taste and overall quality. To summarize, the process of converting maize into masa is an important first step in the creation of Doritos chips. The masa must be carefully sourced, soaked, ground, and shaped in order to provide the ideal basis for these delightful appetizers. Once the masa has been formed into the trademark triangular shape, the chips may be sliced and fried. The cutting procedure is crucial for ensuring that the chips are of consistent size and shape. The equipment used to cut the chips employs a die to form the triangle shape, and the size of the die determines the size of the chips. The chips are then sorted and sent across a conveyor belt to the frying step. During the cutting process, quality control methods are implemented to guarantee that the chips are neither too thick nor too thin, and that they are of consistent size and shape. Any chips that do not meet the required requirements are eliminated from the production line. The cutting procedure employs sophisticated technology intended to handle the fragile masa without destroying it. To ensure that the cutting blades function properly, they are sharpened and maintained on a regular basis. It is worth noting that Doritos chips come in a variety of forms, including rounds, squares, and rectangles. The cutting process is modified to get the required form. In short, shape and cutting, the masa are critical procedures in the creation of Doritos chips. The sophisticated technology used in the cutting process guarantees that the chips are of the same size and shape, which is critical for the frying process. The Doritos chips come to life during the frying and seasoning step. After the chips have been chopped to size, they are deep fried in vegetable oil at high temperatures. The frying process is continuously watched to ensure that the chips cook uniformly and do not burn. The temperature of the oil is very important in determining the ultimate product quality. If the oil temperature is too low, the chips will not cook uniformly, with some being undercooked and others being overdone. If the temperature is too high, the chips may burn, compromising their flavor and texture. The newly cut Doritos are moved down a conveyor belt to the next stage, which is baking in the oven. Despite the seemingly controlled procedure, any leftover dough is recycled and returned to the dough vats for reuse. Now it's time to toast the tortillas. The triangular nachos are placed in an exceptional oven that operates at 340 degrees Celsius. With 3 stages and high temperatures, the nachos spend just a few seconds in this customized oven, providing the correct texture while keeping them from drying out and maintaining moisture. This procedure also helps to generate the unique bubbles observed in Doritos. The industrial oven efficiently closes the exterior surface, retaining moisture and producing bubbles in the dough. This procedure is essential for giving Doritos their unique crunch. Despite just spending 16 seconds inside, the dough is sufficiently dried to remain intact when touched. The heat trapping creates microscopic moisture pockets inside the dough, giving Doritos their distinctive uneven texture. Later, the tortillas are allowed to cool on a series of conveyor belts before being transferred to the fryer. This little interval also allows inspectors to confirm that none of the triangles burnt during their time in the oven. Next, a mesh conveyor belt transports the triangles to the fryer, where the oil is kept at 182 degrees C. The nachos take only 55 seconds to cook. At this point, the nachos have the ideal color and crunchy texture. The bubbles found in a finished Dorito are really air pockets trapped in the chip during the frying process. Following this, a mesh conveyor belt takes the nachos and returns the leftover oil to the fryer. The Doritos are now moved to a specific drum by vibrating conveyors, where they are blended with the proper seasonings and additives. At the next station, a screw auger empties nacho seasoning into the drum. Large bags of the blend, comprising a secret combination of cheddar cheese, Parmesan cheese, and spices, are placed on the machine's top, which funnels the mixture into the drum. The main components include different cheeses, spices, flavor enhancers such as monosodium glutamate, and preservatives to extend the product's shelf life. The nozzles spray the nachos with canola oil, which improves the surface's adhesiveness and ensures the seasoning stays. This enormous drum effectively and evenly spreads the seasoning as the fragile chips pass through it. They act as buffers, preventing breaking against one another. The seasoned Doritos go down a 30-meter conveyor belt to guarantee complete chilling before being packaged. With an annual worth of $4 billion, this high-demand commodity requires cautious management. Hoppers direct the nachos from the seasoning drum to various packaging equipment. The packing gadget exemplifies technical choreography at its finest. Each machine comes with 14 cube-shaped scales. Doritos are carefully placed and dumped into the measurement machine, where a succession of spoons accurately weigh a bag of Doritos. When there is enough for a package, a trapdoor opens, the nachos fall, and a machine forms an aluminum and plastic strip into a bag. The nachos fall into the bag, which is quickly closed and cut using heat sealing, simultaneously sealing the bottom of the next bag. The bagging machine infuses nitrogen and seals it. This method reduces oxygen to prevent rotting, allowing Doritos to stay fresh for longer periods of time. Furthermore, it forms an air cushion inside the bag, keeping the chips from shattering. Each big bag of Doritos includes around 100 chips. A worker ensures that each package contains 8 bags. This factory has the capacity to produce and package 70,000 bags of Doritos each day, for a total of approximately 18 million bags annually. Then they are delivered to stores and made available for consumers to enjoy. The bags are then put into cartons and distributed to merchants throughout the world. It is vital to note that the production process for Doritos chips includes various safety and hygiene precautions to guarantee that the product is safe to consume. These precautions include frequent cleaning and sanitation of the machinery and production environment, as well as the usage of protective clothes and equipment by employees. The distribution process is continuously regulated to ensure that the chips reach shops in a timely and efficient way. Quality control methods are also implemented during the distribution process to guarantee that the chips are not destroyed during transit and arrive at retailers in their original state. In addition to assuring product quality, packaging and distribution play a crucial role in marketing and branding. The bags are intended to be eye-catching and distinctive, with bright colors and patterns to attract customers. In conclusion, the popularity and profitability of Doritos chips are a tribute to the complex and comprehensive production process that goes into making this cherished snack. So, the next time you grab for a bag of Doritos, take a moment to appreciate the labor put into making those crispy, cheesy chips.